It's a beautiful Sunday, January 4th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's number one casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful, award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack match, roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, always a good time, and Portal Combat has begun.
Yes, it has.
Portal Combat! Now, the annoying part about this time of year, Ted, is you just have to be patient, and no one likes to be patient right now, man.
No, like we hang on every rumor, right? No telling how true they are, and it's not just for your own school. You've got to go through multiple sources, right, to try and connect the dots on stuff. So, yeah, there's a lot happening out there, and uh, everyone's got their wish list coming out of Christmas, right?
Oh, I know I certainly do. But as of this recording this early on Sunday morning, OU has not landed any commitments from any portal guys. So patience is key, and really, Ted, we just have to trust Jim Nagy in the front office and Brent Venables and his coaching staff to land the pieces this roster needs.
Yeah.
That's just kind of where you're at, and I know that that's not what the fan base wants to hear. They want us to go out and buy every guy that's ranked at the top of the portal rankings, but that's typically not how it works anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, anywhere you're seeing guys that were significant contributors at big time programs. Those programs are being like, hey, man, we can't pay you what you want. We'll see you later. Like that's happening all across the country. So this is a critical time of the year for what this team is going to be next season, though. So this is as into a transfer portal cycle as I've ever been, man. Like I'm all in on. I'm like, okay, who do we have coming visiting? I'm texting people that I would never text about that stuff. Not trying to report anything or anything like that, just because I want to know. I want to know. I want to feel better about it, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild to watch it take place and just to kind of see some of the things that are happening across the country, not necessarily involving your own school. And you're right. It's interesting, in the NFL, when you have a free agency period or an off season where you've got all the things moving around, you're really dealing with one market. Like the going rate is the going rate. But currently in college, that's not really the case. You've got these different markets everywhere, and everyone's salary cap is has a different number on it to some degree. It's just interesting that, you know, there's players that feel like they can make more money, and maybe that market's out there, maybe it's not. It's really weird to follow right now. And I know that that's nothing groundbreaking, but it's fascinating to see how things play out. It's become something that, even though I know a lot of people aren't fans of it, it's still an intriguing follow and has definitely changed the offseason of college football.
Oh, the second we get a commitment from anyone out of the portal, we're diving in on and in the weeds on them. Like that's it. That's
Yeah,
why I do appreciate the chaos of the transfer portal from a content perspective, but
no
it
doubt.
is, dude, I'm not gonna lie, it is stressful because you're sitting here going, hey, it just feels like we were a couple pieces away. And I know we're losing some significant contributors off a good team in 2025. I get that. But you're sitting back here going, man, if we just get the right pieces and we add a couple guys from this recruiting class, how good could this team be? And that's exciting, man. So that's why I feel like I'm as into this portal cycle as I've ever been. I'm typically like, just let me know who commits and we'll talk about
Right.
it. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's the 10-2 season and like the hope and excitement that created for everyone. Maybe that's it. But I don't know, man. I'm over here going, okay, who's visiting? What's his number? How are we going to make this work? Like, how are we going to make it happen? But unfortunately, as of now, as of this recording, no portal commitments.
No portal commitments. No. But you're right. And I think for me the excitement is after a successful season, you feel like you are, like you said, a couple of pieces here and there away from being like who knows how competitive. In years past, we've kind of needed like a wholesale group to come in, and instead of just filling some spots, um, just all that to say, it feels we're in a different portal position than we've been in really since this whole thing has gotten underway.
Yeah. Now, really, since there's no commitments to talk about out of the portal, really the only thing left to talk about is the guys that have left the program or entering the portal since our last episode.
You tell me you don't want to chase down every single rumor out there that's floating around?
I Speaking of rumors, before we get to kind of where the latest portal updates for the roster, we've seen the reports about Joe John Finley. We've all seen it. Now, this has always been our approach to this type of stuff. We're going to go ahead and wait until there's something official put out about that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is a big piece of that the fact that Joe John Finley is our friend? No doubt. There's no doubt about that. But we will break that down, talk about the possibilities once there's something official on that situation. Until then, just being real, leaving that one alone, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how you have to operate. Everyone can get into all because that's another thing that you're right. It's not worth stepping into until you've got actual legitimate verified information that you can run with, because I know that the speculation is running wild right now. So yeah, I think that's fair.
I will say, and I get it, right? I feel like we have pointed out the flaws of the tight end position over the last couple of seasons. I feel like we've done a solid job of that on here.
Mm-hmm.
But celebrating someone losing their job is not cool. I
No.
get it. I get the passion. I understand. I understand it's a results driven business. But some of the stuff I've seen has been, and maybe people are joking more than anything, but there's a little truth in every joke, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's where you want to be in life, celebrating someone possibly losing their job. And I get it. I totally understand it. But I don't know, man. I'm a karma guy, dude. And that just, I don't know. Some of the stuff I saw did not sit particularly well with me.
Yeah.
But it is, it's a tough business. It's what these guys sign up for. I get it. But I just, I don't know. Some of the stuff I was like, dang, man, that's checked up.
Yeah, it's a it's really interesting when two worlds collide. You got one side is this is entertainment, this is hobby, I guess you would call it. You're a fan, like this is where you get a lot of your entertainment. Like the entertainment world and the real world meet for a lot of people, and it creates like I understand like the rooting interest and the cheering interest and like the entertainment aspect of it, but there's also people like this is their livelihood. It's the real world for them, so you want to respect that.
We are two guys that got fired a lot at one point in our life. So that has shaped us and molded us, and that's why I don't know. There's just we're not going to be the guys on here going, hey, you need to fire this guy. You need to do this. Hey, this needs to be celebrated. No, no, no. We went through a couple rough years there, buddy. And that's unless you go through that as an individual in the football world, then I don't know. It's kind of hard to understand how devastating that can be.
Yeah, you have to get good at getting fired, which is not a
Which is,
not a good place to be.
I got way too used to it, dude. Not good. Not good at all. All right, that's enough on that. Let's get into the latest portal stuff for the Sooners. And let's start on the offensive side of the ball. Ted, here are the guys that were on the 2025 roster that are going into the portal. We've got Jaden Gibson, Isaiah Autry-Dent, Caden Helms, Jacob Sexton, Javante Barnes, Troy Everett, Luke Baklenko, Michael Hawkins, Logan Howland, KJ Daniels, Jake Taylor, Carson Kent, and Taylor Tatum. I think that's all of them as of this recording. When you look at the list, which guys do you look at and you go, "Oh man, that's a significant loss," or that's not what you want? Maybe is the better way to present it.
Right. Um, well, on the offensive, the first thing that struck me was the offensive line, just the sheer volume, like a guy like Logan Howland, uh, the tackle spot, like we've had a lot of we had guys stacked up that have played snaps for us that, gave you depth. And I know injury's been a big factor in there, but where all of a sudden you look at the tackle spot and the roster and, you're going to be in a difficult spot depth wise. And, the easy thing to say is, well, you go to the portal and you get some depth. Like all of a sudden the portal at offensive tackle becomes a different animal whenever you feel like maybe you've got two really young guys that are going to start at tackle for the extended future. Well, the market all of a sudden changes, whenever you've got young guys that you feel like are super talented and maybe bookends possibly for you. And I don't know how that plays out, but it becomes a little bit more difficult sell and getting guys to come in, that maybe don't feel like there's nearly as good of an opportunity to compete for a starting job. So I'm just curious how that all plays out.
Yeah, it certainly, you look at the guys that have entered and hey, does it change what we viewed as the biggest needs for the roster? And tight end was at the top of that list. It remains at the top of the list for me. But yeah, there's the number of offensive linemen going into the portal certainly gets your attention. But when you look at it, Jacob Sexton, there's an alternate universe where he stays healthy in his Oklahoma career and he's just a fantastic player. But that's not how it unfolded.
Mm-hmm.
Troy Everett, two big time injuries over the last couple seasons. And from a leadership standpoint, that feels like there is going to be a void along the offensive line. Even when he was hurt this year, like he still was the guy speaking before games.
Yeah.
Like that was his role, even when he wasn't playing. So you need that type of guy along the offensive line. And I'm just gonna be real. I'm gonna miss Troy. He's
Yeah.
an extremely entertaining guy to be around. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that knee heals up and he can go play a full healthy season somewhere next year. But the O line guys is kind of guys that have had injury issues, right?
Yep.
Sexton, Everett, Howland, even though he battled through a ton at points in the 2025 season, like he had the shoulder surgery after the 2024 season. He was really, really banged up throughout the 2025 season. Jake Taylor has been banged up for, I mean, it feels like his entire time at
Yep.
OU. So those guys, there is a common theme with those four guys. And then there's Luke Baklenko, who I don't think he's physically talented enough for what they're looking for at the offensive tackle spot. But he did come in and play some spot duty this year, and he held on, like he covered guys up. But yeah, you start looking at that tackle position, it's thin, man. There's no other way to say it. It's thin, and everyone is looking for offensive tackles out of the
That's the
transfer
thing.
portal. They were able to do it last year with Derek Simmons. And when he was on the field, played some solid ball for him. And we'll see if the plan is move Foje to right tackle full time and plug the holes in the interior, or hey, go find another tackle and play Foje at guard. We'll see, but
Well, in the when you're in the shopping market, like the plan is to keep Foje at guard, right? Because I do you get a guy like Derek Simmons who you got a year ago if you have what's viewed as two young starting tackles? I mean, that's kind of my big overarching question about the position and how does that change the caliber of players that you can be in the market for? Who's going to have interest?
well, there's two ways to look at it. If you think Foje can, trim up a little bit and play tackle, then going and finding an interior offensive lineman is a lot cheaper than going and finding a
Yeah,
tackle.
no doubt.
So there's two ways to look at it. It's like, hey, no, we feel good about Ryan Foje as a right tackle. We've got him on the roster. Let's get to a number that everyone can agree on with Foje, and then let's bring an interior guy. You still need depth pieces, right?
Yep.
You still need to develop guys. That's obvious, but yeah, it's maybe you just make that decision depending on who you can get interest from. If you're Jim Nagy and Brent Venables and this staff, so I don't know the best approach, but typically if I've got two tackles that I feel really good about in the boat, then okay, let's get them at a reasonable number instead of going and spending huge on a guy, having to outbid everyone for a tackle in the portal. Like that's just how I think about it though.
Yep. No, I totally agree. And I think I you feel like I could be wrong. I mean, this is just a guess. Like there may be more options on the interior than there is on the outside. It's a lot like the NFL. When you got a great tackle, you don't let him go, right? You grin and bear it, whatever it costs financially. Um, quickly on this, Deacon Schmidt, do you think is he a guard or a tackle? You think?
I think he'll start on the interior.
Okay.
When you look at his movement skills, now you get into a college strength and conditioning program, you lean up, you get more explosive. Like, maybe he looks really good at tackle.
Yeah.
But as far as like his ceiling, it seems like guard is where his ceiling would be the highest. But I've never seen the kid in person.
Yeah. That's
Um,
I was just thinking of it numbers wise, wondering where he would be. But yeah, I think I agree with what you're saying.
I do think they expect him to come and be in the mix right away.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But we just went through that experience, played a bunch of freshmen along the offensive line.
I
So
know.
it can be done. It's not impossible. But yeah, that's the offensive line situation has become a very interesting one. And then I was Caden Helms going into the portal. I thought he could be a depth piece. If he had a great offseason, a possible tight end 2, but certainly a solid tight end 3 for this program. Carson Kent kind of felt the same way, could be a solid tight end 3 out there running routes for us, but those guys have chose to that. I don't know if those guys chose, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. There's also that piece of thing. Like, how many of these guys are in because they want to be in?
Right.
And that applies to every team across the country, not just Oklahoma, but tight end and offensive line still remain on the biggest needs list. And then you've got your backup quarterback entering the portal, which I know that when we saw Michael Hawkins Jr. this year, it didn't look particularly good against Kent State. I get that. But I thought that was an aberration. Like, it was an abnormal performance from him. He was doing some things, frankly, mechanically, I've never seen him do. And I feel like that performance shaped the season in a weird way. And it, I don't know, him and his brother now in the portal, and it seems like West Virginia for those guys. But he's a very talented player. And if you can have a talented backup quarterback, that's always a really good thing. But I think with Bo Bentley coming in, that the Sooners feel good about where they're sitting at the quarterback position.
Yeah, it was one of those that you weren't surprised by. Mike Hawkins and his family, they've been incredibly patient, and he's still got plenty of eligibility, but the clock's ticking, and you want to get on the field and play. And with Mateer, most likely, I guess, you would say coming back, you got a freshman and Bo Bentley coming in. It's one of those things that you just kind of understand as a guy in his situation, the ability that he's got and the market that he'll probably have out there. He wants to go play ball, and this is probably his best opportunity to go find a starting job. And I think he most likely will.
I'm with you. I I think that's definitely fair to say.
And I wish him a ton of luck. And I think that getting the right spot, the right coaching, the right offense, I think he can be an incredibly dangerous quarterback.
I'm with you. And that's, I hope all these guys land somewhere and go out and play at a high level, unless they're playing against OU.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I view all this. Like, hey, these guys wore Sooners across their chests. I wish them nothing but the best unless they play against the Sooners. That's
Which has become a weird part of college football that you never thought about before, right? Is like seeing all the different guys on Saturday, playing for different teams out there. Oh, I forgot this guy went there, having a good season. It's pretty cool.
it's cool and also insane. Let's be real.
But yeah, it's insane. And it's also like, how come he couldn't do that whenever he was here? Right.
You see Hollywood Smothers is like the top ranked back in the portal. You're like, wait
What
a
are we
second.
doing? How is this happening?
Speaking of running back, Taylor Tatum, just he was the number one ranked running back coming out of high school, and just never came together. Right, the fumbling issues, the assignment issues his freshman year, and then this season just couldn't stay healthy. Man, with with several injury issues, and he's one of those guys that I think, and I include myself in this group. It's just like, what could he have been?
Yeah.
In Crimson and Cream, and will it surprise me if he goes somewhere and puts together a really nice career? Honestly, I don't know, but it's just one where you look at it and you go, man, that did not go the way we were hoping it would go.
Yeah. And it's yet another guy where injury was a huge factor. he comes in as a true freshman, and I think the talent and the ability was easy to see. Great vision, was really good with the football in his hands, had the fumbling issues that you mentioned, but it was hard for him to really build on it because he missed so much time. I think he missed a little bit of time in spring. I know he was active in the spring, but training camp, missed most of training camp, then was, banged up early in the season. We saw him come in like for the first time he was up and ready to go with South Carolina. And he came in, I think on the first play, hurt his shoulder again, right? The first carry that he got out there. So just another guy that first and foremost, most important to taking that step to have a good career elsewhere is gotta get healthy and make sure you stay that way. And I know it can be difficult once those dominoes start to fall, but hopefully it happens for him.
So just looking at the offensive side, got visitors at running back, several tight ends visiting.
God, I don't tight end wise, what do we got on roster right now? I know we've got the two young guys coming in, the two high school signees, but outside of that,
I mean, McIntyre's still on the roster as of now, but speaking of injury issues, he's been hurt. And he's kind of like a unique body type. He's not a tight end. So, yeah, the tight end situation is dire to extreme.
yeah.
It feels dire. Like I know this. We're landed. We gotta grab some tight ends, and they will. But we got to grab some tight ends that allow us to be a little more multiple offensively.
Yeah, that's going to be one of those position groups where, like, because of your roster situation and number wise, like you've loaded up the war chest in that area to where you can't just strike out a bunch of times because of the financial setback. I feel pretty confident saying that they've allocated some resources there to make sure they get that position in a good spot.
No doubt. All right, let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. But first, download the Loves app from Love's Travel Stops, your guide to savings on the road. Fill up for less with the discount on fuel, 10 cents off on every gallon of gas, and 25 cents off on every gallon of auto diesel. And don't forget, in the store, you can unlock mobile deals on the Loves app to save on snacks, drinks, and select meals at Love's restaurants. Plus, you can plan your pit stops for your next road trip with the map and route planner. All from Love's, the heart of the highway.
Steaks are back. Didier Ranch's luxury steak cuts are restocked and ready to ship straight to your door. From mouth-watering ribeyes to silky smooth fillets, this is the best beef Oklahoma has to offer. And here's the kicker. They're now shipping next day air for free when you use code SOONER at checkout. That's right. Next day air like Amazon Prime, but for steak. Didier Ranch delivers taste and tradition the luxurious way. Order today at DidierRanch.com and get your steaks just in time for the holidays.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, the Oklahoma-owned company and the official drinker partner of the OKC Thunder. Simple Modern is selling these sick championship collector's gift sets celebrating the Thunder's first ever NBA championship. Banners hang forever, and these are truly one-of-a-kind commemorative items that you'll want to hold on to forever. Just use code OB35 for 35% off your order. Click the link in the show notes and grab one for the biggest Thunder fan you know. Just remember to use code OB35. And with 10% of all Simple Modern profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, every purchase supports our community on and off the court. Simple Modern, good everywhere. All right, looking at the latest updates for the Sooners roster on the defensive side of the ball, as of this recording, take a shot every time I say as of this recording.
Right.
We've got Gentry Williams, Malik Hawkins, Day Jordan, Marcus Strong, Marcus Wimberly, Kobe McKenzie, and Kendall Dolby in the portal. Once again, as of this recording, defense, we have not landed any defensive commitments out of the portal. So when you look at the list, Ted, man, there's a couple on the defensive side where you go, oh, come on. No,
Yeah.
come on. And personally, and it's because he's an Oklahoma kid, and it's because we've seen the flashes of what he could be when he's healthy. Like Gentry Williams, that one hurts, man. That one hurts. Like, and
Yeah.
he's just, can we just get the guy a new shoulder, please? Because
Yeah.
he's an excellent football player when he's healthy, but that shoulder just has plagued his career.
Yep. It's been tough. Yeah, he's one of those guys that it's not surprising, but it was a place I was unwilling to go mentally, I think, leading into it because Gentry Williams starts at, I don't know, 90% of the schools in the country. And I it's just only a matter of time where a guy like that is going to go and catch on somewhere where he can be a starter and will probably command some pretty good money out there on the open market. Now, the injury issues are going to be something that people have to deal with, but um, in a very quick time, we went from dang, I don't know what corner's going to look like this year. Eli Bowen's not practicing. Is Gentry Williams going to be healthy? We got a true freshman out there taking reps with the ones right now to not very long after saying, dang, we've got a bunch of really good corners. We're set at corner. And now you're back to, I mean, I like our guys, but, our depth we're play away all of a sudden. So
That
I don't know. I,
is
I, I love the development that we've had at that position. And because of that, it's going to have to continue to be really good, and you're going to have young guys that can step up right away and be competitive.
it is one of those situations where corner and safety, like the development has been great. Feels like Jay Valai and Brandon Hall are doing a really, really nice job because they've played so many young guys. They've gotten those guys reps early in their career, and it just feels like you see them grow and grow and grow back there, which is how it's supposed to be,
Mhm.
right? When you're trying to build a deep roster, but when you look at Day Jordan, Ted, is it as simple as he probably wants to be a consistent starter
Yeah,
somewhere? I mean, with Guillory and Eli Bowen, it's very, very difficult to envision those two guys not being your starting quarters in 2026.
that's right. That's right. And one of the great things about our defense this season was the amount of players that we played and rotated in that were excellent for you. Came in, played their role, matchup, like however you wanted to do it. Someone's banged up or just matchup wise, or just, this is how many reps we want you to get. Played a bunch of guys. And while I think that was one of the key separators for us, it also puts you in a position in the future of like all those guys that played for you and got good snaps feel like they want to start and want more reps and want more opportunity and want more money, and it creates that tough situation for you. So you mean it's where you want to be ultimately, right? That you've got role players and guys off the bench that are playing really good football for you and have those opportunities elsewhere. If you don't have those guys that have the opportunities elsewhere, well then you don't have the depth. So it's going to be a recurring cycle, I think.
It feels like what you just said applies perfectly to the Marcus Strong situation.
Yep.
He is a, he's going to command a market because everyone needs defensive tackles.
Yep.
And he's a starting level defensive tackle at a lot of places.
Yep.
But you're not going to pay Marcus Strong starter money when you've got Jaden Jackson and David Stone. You're just not.
Not very long ago, Marcus Strong, we would be viewing him as, you know, the best defensive tackle that we've got on the roster.
We would be viewing him as a guy where you go, we must keep him at all costs.
There's no doubt.
But that's just not the current situation. Even when you factor in some of the injury issues that Jaden Jackson has had, it is like you've got arguably the best duo of defensive tackles in the country heading into the 2026 season.
Yep.
I'm sure Marcus Strong is going, hey, I want to start and I want to be paid starter money.
Yep.
And honestly, that's a fair stance for that young man to take, right? I think there's a lot of places across the country that are going to want Marcus Strong in their program to be one of their starting defensive tackles.
No doubt. Well, I think that there's a couple of things that you can take from it. Number one, like we hit, it's a good place to be whenever your depth pieces are able to go out and get starter money. The other side of it is it makes you feel good about maybe the interest that they're getting in the transfer portal, that this isn't a spot where they made a strong stand, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You would think that if they didn't have good depth pieces on the hook, with the ability that they felt really strongly about bringing in, that they wouldn't let that situation get there. They make it work somehow, financially. So that's my hope, at least. Maybe that's a massive level of cope going on right now. I don't know, but it's kind of how I feel that if Marcus Strong is hitting the portal and they didn't step in there and be like, okay, let's work this out, let's make you happy. My hope is they've got some guys out there on the hook that they feel like are at close to the level that they can get maybe better value with, or maybe better value that they're above that level in the same type of price range. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And Marcus Strong is one of those situations where it's not like he played a ton, though, dude.
No. He
And
doesn't have a lot of reps, but he's got some good reps in the times that he did come in.
no doubt about it. And he knows the system. You want to keep those types of guys in, but I think you want it. You got to have depth at that position. That was one of the biggest strengths, maybe the biggest strength of the team this season, was that defensive tackle depth. But I do think they have got their eyes on some guys in the portal that maybe are a little more dynamic than Marcus is, if that makes sense.
Is strange.
We got to replace Grayson Halton, dude.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We don't currently have that piece, and he's a guy that for the last couple of years we have talked about. He added the quickness and twitch at that position that no one else really offered, and you don't see, pretty rare, a guy that can run like him and penetrate and just shows up in the biggest plays somehow. Factor grade, I've talked about before. Like, how often is a guy a factor? Even if he doesn't make the tackle or, get the sack, whatever, like, how often is he a factor in the outcome of a play? With Grayson Halton, it was always.
I'm going to miss that guy a lot.
I know. I am too.
For multiple reasons. But
I think he's gonna be a guy on the draft board. I think he'll test really well. I think he'll perform well. He got the Shrine invite, right?
He's the Senior Bowl guy.
Is he Senior Bowl? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
he didn't get the disrespectful Shrine game invite.
I knew he got something. I saw the big list of guys come across, but all that to say, like, I think he's got a very bright future.
I'm with you. I think he's going to be one of those guys after that week in Mobile where he's going to be on the stock up lists.
I agree.
If you
he's
will.
a one-on-one guy.
Oh, no doubt about it. And also just a pleasant human to be around, which never hurts.
Energy. Yep.
But and we've talked about the Kobe McKenzie situation, and they're they're looking at backer in the portal.
Yeah.
Got a couple visitors, and the guys that they're having in on these visits, like these dudes can play. So I've said this many times on here before. I think the last position I'm going to worry about with Brent Venables and in a Brent Venables defense is inside backer. I'm whatever it ends up looking like, I'm going to be at peace with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm with you. They get a lot of coaching. A lot of coaching from from a bunch of different guys. It's coming from all angles. So yeah, there's not a lot of room for error there.
So, and Malik Hawkins is the only guy we didn't really talk about, and that is heard some really good things about like his
Yes.
football IQ and what he was doing as a freshman. So that's also one of those, and I get the family situation and all that, but that's also one of those where you're like, dang man, what was he going to end up being if he just would have stayed in the program and learned from Valai and Hall and just like would he have been ended up being like an all conference type player? I will never know,
Yeah.
but
And
you can always wonder, I suppose.
yeah, and I'll say the exact same thing about Marcus Wimberly at the safety spot. He's a guy that a lot of people haven't heard the name. He was a freshman, had a knee injury, but I promise you, you haven't heard the last of this kid. He's got great size, great length, and he can run. So, just one of those spots where you get like the safety room is a tough one because you play a lot of guys. There's a ton of talent, a lot of players that are, not getting a big rep count that you feel like can go start somewhere pretty quickly. And I think Marcus Wimberly is going to be a guy that we're probably going to hear that name again soon.
Does anything that has happened with the roster between now and our last episode, does it change our view as what the biggest needs are for the roster defensively?
I don't think so.
Still defensive tackle, right?
Still defensive tackle.
And they're a side conversation about linebacker.
Linebacker is there. Like the depth is needed. The competition at some spots are needed. We'll have to hear more. Like it's hard to know at that spot what the like. We may be great and not even have to get anyone out of the portal. I think they're going to, but you know, you still have some. You're still juggling some balls up in the air there, eligibility wise, and who might be back. But it's still going to be a position of need, even if you get everyone back that you hope for depth wise, because you know it's one of those spots, kind of like I've been saying, where you go from, man, we got linebackers coming out of our ears to all of a sudden be like, boy, I hope we get some good value in the transfer portal, but I feel very confident in that one.
Come on, NCAA. Hurry up.
Do your job.
We're all waiting. We need to know that Owen Heineke has another season. Hurry up, please. It's just ridiculous, dude. My
Yeah.
goodness. Anything else defensively? It's not a very fun episode, okay? We haven't landed any commitments, and there's like 20 something guys that were on the roster at the start of the season that are in the portal. This is the least fun podcast maybe of the year, which isn't saying much. It's the first one of the year. What a way to start off the year.
Well, you know, you're right. There's a high level of anxiety there because there's a bunch of good players that were at a minimum role players for us. But because everything's still up in the air right now, the optimism is still spewing over, and you feel like you're going to get every single player that you want and need. So it's a weird spot to be in right now. We'll see if later on we are either thrilled or unhappy.
My hope is that as people are listening to this on Sunday or on Monday, that we've landed multiple commitments and they're
Yes.
like, we can't believe these guys recorded on Sunday morning. That's my hope.
Hey,
I want that. I want that for myself. I want that for this fan base. We need some good news, man.
I would think that most of your top transfer portal guys out there know the podcast schedule.
Mm.
Okay.
Well, I was more thinking like it's an intelligence test for a transfer portal guy right now. Sunday during NFL football is not when you commit.
No.
That's you're not going to get the attention you want during an NFL Sunday. It would be now watcho you get like 3 or 4 commitments today,
Hey,
but which once again I will celebrate and we will break down, but you don't go head to head against the NFL. If you want to get your shine, if you want the news to be a big deal, don't do it during an NFL slate of games on a Sunday. Not
if
not what a PR professional would tell you to do.
no, if you've got a good agent out there for these guys, that agent needs to know the commitment window and how it meshes up with our show. Okay. That's just some advice for people.
And any transfer portal guy that wants to come on, answer a couple questions, chop it up with us,
Go.
more than welcome. Hey, have your people contact our people. Our people
Yeah.
is us. That's it. That's all we got. That's all we got for now. Maybe. We'll see. All right, let's recap the college football playoff quarterfinals. But first,
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. Schwabmeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days.
and head to the garage for hand smash patties, butter toasted buns, and ice cold beer. My go to is the double bison cheeseburger. It's so good. The garage is the perfect spot to watch any big game, and you can enjoy Rad Hour every day. Enjoy discounted domestic beers, house wines, draft cocktails, and frozen cocktails Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday and Sunday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Visit eatatthegarage.com to find a location near you or order online from the garage in your neighborhood.
Insurica has launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
All right, time to recap the CFP quarterfinals, and let's just go in order as they were played, Ted. Oh, boy, Miami looked good. 24-14, and the best way to describe that team, dude, that's a violent football team, brother.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Hey, you can say whatever you want about Miami and their shortcomings over the last couple of years and all of that conversation, but yeah, they paid a lot of money for their roster, but they did it the right way. That team is built on the offensive and defensive line. That's where everything starts for them, and it makes the rest of their team shine.
They thoroughly outplayed Ohio State. And I know that second half was a lot of fun to watch. Like Ohio State figured some things out offensively, and that became a very entertaining, like high level college football game. But when you look at the game as a whole, Miami was just better, like in every facet. They won the battle at the line of scrimmage consistently on both sides of the ball. They ran the ball more consistently with Mark Fletcher, who, dude, just runs angry. I love watching that guy.
I like running backs that are 225 plus pounds.
They protected Carson Beck more consistently than Ohio State was able to protect Julian's saying, especially in that first half. My goodness.
You just a lot of times you don't have to dig in that deep. You just watch the each offense. One quarterback is running for his life and everything is a panic and everything is difficult, and the other guy is able to have some comfort and some time in the pocket to just distribute the football. And it was blatantly obvious watching this football game.
I think, and this is, you're never going to see this on a stat sheet. There's no analytic for it, but I just call it like in your face. I thought Miami strained longer, and it was every time, not every, but the majority of the time after the play, it was Miami's guys like saying something in an Ohio State guy's face. They were in their face. You know what I mean? Like it felt like dang near every snap as I'm watching what's going on after the play. Like Miami's guys were just the aggressors, dude. And that has to make Mario Cristobal and that staff so happy. Because it stood out to me. Like it stood out to me. I was like, dang, these dudes are letting these guys from Ohio State know each and every snap.
And I know it's been a long time for Miami that they've had this type of success, but you go back through history, every team that they've had that has been really good has that exact characteristic.
And I think the early success in the game fueled that fire for the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Like once they realized not only could they beat them, but like they're better than them, you just saw that edge grow and grow and grow. And I know Ohio State did some more things, some better things offensively in the second half, but it just felt like Miami it just had that edge all game. They were just a better team.
Yeah, and maybe this is something we're going to explore as we look through these games, but I mean, it's at least got to be mentioned. Teams that have had an extended amount of rest have not fared well in the college football playoff through the first 2 years. Is that just the way it's unfolded, or is there something to it?
May I present Indiana? I'm not here for the excuses. Don't tell me you got too much rest, dude.
Fair point.
You got to show up and play at a high level. The bottom line is it wasn't the rest that was Ohio State's issue. It's their offensive line. They're too finesse along the offensive line.
Yeah.
They don't have enough dudes along the offensive line. They did not have a championship caliber O-line. And Miami exposed that. Now, they made a change at left tackle in the second half, and things kind of stabilized, and they ran it a little better, and they protected Sayan at a higher level in that second half, but they weren't good enough up front. It's a line of scrimmage game, baby.
There you go.
Miami was better at the line of scrimmage. It wasn't the rest.
Decidedly better.
Yeah, it wasn't the rest, man. It was Miami being more violent and more physical at the point of attack. That's football, you know?
Dude, I was really excited to watch Ohio State's defense because they've been really good. They have excellent players at all three levels, and credit Miami's run game and their offensive line and their tight ends, because especially they totally eliminated the second level of Ohio State's defense, and that's not easy to do.
I don't remember. We barely heard Arvell Reese's name.
Yeah.
And some people may think he's going to be the first defender off the board in the draft. And Miami didn't shy away from it. They did some smart things in the passing game. I thought Carson Beck played a really nice game.
Yep.
The box score's not going to wow you. He did some really important things with his legs, but I thought he managed the game, and He was good on third down and didn't make any of the throws where you go, "Oh no, Carson Beck, what are you doing?" So that's all they needed because they were better at the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I Ohio State, the thing about Ohio State's defense, supposed to be the best defense in the country, right?
Hmm.
When they had to get a stop, what happened?
They got run over.
Miami goes 10 plays, 70 yards in 5 minutes to extend the lead to 10. Now, some really nice runs from Fletcher, some big third down conversions. It got to the point where what Ohio State's defense have to do, Ted, to give them a chance in the game?
You had to get reckless.
They had to let them score.
Yeah.
They let them in the end zone. So the O line didn't hold up their end of the bargain, but the nation's best defense, it's got first rounders all over the place. When they had to get a stop, Miami said, "We're going to run it right at your face. Deal with it."
I mean, you look at the rushing numbers, it tells you quite a bit about the game. Miami, they ran the ball 37 times for 153, and Ohio State 24 for 45. Reduced to throwing it more, and your numbers in the run game just not yielding great results. So, again, it's a line of scrimmage sport, and I know that a lot of those rushing yards are, counteracted by the pressure you had on the quarterback. So it's in the passing game, but it reviews in the rushing game, but it's a line of scrimmage domination. I mean, yeah. When Sayan has 5 carries for negative 42 yards, that can really hurt things. And he was running for his life and physically got hammered a bunch of times. You see him get suplexed. I mean, there was a lot of that going on with Miami's defense.
The first half, the pass protection was a disaster. Not
Oh my
IDing
God.
things well. And then guys just getting whooped
Yep.
in one on ones. There
Those
was,
twist stunts on the inside, it was brutal.
I felt for Julian saying in that first half, I was like, gosh, this guy is getting destroyed.
It was the blow the whistle from necessary roughness meme, just running for his life back there, trying to throw the ball over his shoulder at times. Just quarterbacks all become very average or below whenever they're facing that type of pressure. I mean, you look and say, well, one quarterback performed really well and the other quarterback didn't. Well, there's a lot on the line of scrimmage that has to do with it, and this is the perfect example.
Anything else from that game? Hey, impressive, Miami.
You go back to the beginning of the year, and it was almost unanimous when Miami had those first couple of wins to start the season. Like, hey, everyone, Miami's the best team in college football. Well, that performance against Ohio State brought back some memories from early season Miami and how you felt about them. I That team with what they did on the line of scrimmage, we'll see how it keeps going. But if they play that way, they can win the whole thing.
Well, when you look at, and we'll preview the semis in the near future, but Ole Miss is very similar, if not worse, than Ohio State at the point of attack.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's a reason that Miami is a 3.5 point favorite in that matchup with Ole Miss, and I think it has everything to do with the line of scrimmage.
Which is crazy. Like, I love the semifinals just because Oregon, Indiana, Ole Miss, Miami, there's some variety there that you haven't seen before, right? So it's just, I think it's going to be a lot of fun because of that reason.
Congrats to Miami. Yay.
Deserved.
Oh, that was they got after them, dude. That was impressive. All right, on to the next game. Don't have to spend a ton of time on this one because I was right about Texas Tech. It's and I say that kind of jokingly, but I thought the defense was legit. I thought the offense was not. And well, Texas Tech's defense is legit. They held up their end of the bargain. David Bailey, what a player. What a
Oh my
performance.
gosh. Yep.
Really, really, really impressed with what I saw from Tech's defense, especially with how many snaps they had to play. But Ted, they just got nothing from their offense. Baron Borton wasn't nearly good enough. That offensive line couldn't move that Oregon defensive front, and they end up with what 200 something yards, 215 yards of offense in the game. They turn it over 4 times. Huge deficit in time of possession. It was just they didn't have the offense, man.
Yep. Didn't have the offense, and the turnovers were killer for them. I also tell me what like I think Oregon was clearly the better football team, but I also thought that the pressure that Oregon was putting on Tech forced Tech maybe to reach more often than they really needed to. And I don't know. I guess I felt like you ultimately want to pull someone out of their game plan, and I felt like Tech got pulled out of their game plan by Oregon earlier than maybe they needed to be. At some point, you gotta, hey, we're playing catch up. We got to make something happen. I don't know. I thought the way Tech they looked like they were desperate way too early in that football game in my mind.
I I thought it was the incorrect offensive approach for him. It should have been, frankly, super conservative, ball control, lean on the defense, let's
Yeah.
shorten this game and see how Oregon responds. Like that instead of putting as much as they did on Baron Morton.
Yeah.
I thought that was a mistake, but uh, Oregon was just better than them, dude. They were just a more balanced team. I mean, you got defensive ends just winning around the corner and taking the ball out of your quarterback's hands. Like that was, how about that play for Muyunglele? That was ridiculous.
Yeah. Just pin it on his lower back and then grab it out of the air. No big deal. Easy play. Yeah. I mean, yet again, like this is a game where you look at the line of scrimmage battle and it's tough whenever you get the ball run at you as many times. Like you mentioned, Tech's defense being on the field, 47 rushes for Oregon. I mean, that's a long physical day on your defense. I don't know. It just felt like when Oregon's offense was on the field, it was evident that the skill talent and like the personnel, it was a big step up from what we'd seen Tech compete against the rest of the season.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. And maybe this is a weird question because they're now in the semifinals. After watching them against Tech, do you feel better or worse about Oregon?
I I I'm still in the same boat with them. I think they're good, but I think that they are I think they're not currently a team that I would be sitting here saying can go win it all. Indiana, Ole Miss, Miami, those are teams I'm sitting here saying they could go win it all. With Oregon, I'm just not there for whatever reason.
I think it has a lot to do with just how sloppy they were in that game. Like they won 23 to nothing, but they didn't play clean.
No, it's
Like
true.
some snap issues. You're like fumbling handoffs or play fakes. Like it was sloppy, man.
Yeah.
And now
Which
they're
does remind me of something I wouldn't have even mentioned previously, but not to skip over on a tangent. Officiating let these teams play.
dude, I went and watched the tape of several of these. Holding does not exist anymore.
No,
It is.
no.
They're letting these dudes just get away with anything. I'm like, okay, it's an offensive guy. I'm like, all right, it is
Hey, as long
okay.
as you're consistent, I mean, that's the thing, right? As long as you're consistent on both sides and you're letting both teams get away with whatever, then I don't have much of a problem with it.
I and this is such a I'm viewing this with such crimson and cream glasses, but my number one takeaway from this game, maybe, probably not my number one takeaway, but one of my takeaways was I would have liked to play either of these teams in the first round, you know?
No doubt. No doubt. Yep.
But Oregon was just a more complete team than Texas Tech. The Texas Tech offense they didn't hold up their end of the bargain. And there's one thing that I think is guaranteed from this result. Tech's gonna go buy themselves a quarterback. Like it's guaranteed, man. There is no doubt. I don't know which one of those guys. I don't know if it's Sam Levitt. I don't know if it's Sorsby from Cincinnati, but they're gonna go grab them one. Because you see the Cody Campbell tweet, he was like, "We're just getting started, boys. We're doubling down." I was like, "Oh no, here we go."
Yep. Yep. Well, hey, uh, for Tech, it was a good, solid season. You you made the playoff. You got to win. You advanced to the second round, and it hasn't been an Indiana type acceleration for Texas Tech, but they're on a much better path than really they ever have been.
Yeah, they're still it. Even though this one, you end up getting shut out, like that doesn't feel good. But I have to imagine Texas Tech fans are extremely excited about
Yep.
where the program's headed, and they
Future
should
is
be.
bright. Yep.
At least they wore their colors in the game. What are we doing, Oregon? Silver and white? You're Oregon. Where's the obnoxious amount of green and yellow? What are we doing? Come on, guys.
I guess when that's
Ridiculous.
your thing, but just to repeat the phrase we always say on here, when you're playing in a big time game, you got to wear you have to know who you're watching as soon as the television comes on and you can see the football teams with Oregon. It's a constant with them. You got to wait and make sure it's Oregon.
Well, one game where you turned it on, you were like, I know exactly who's who, was at the Rose Bowl.
Yep.
Whoa. Indiana wins it 38-3. And I'm just going to call it how I see it, Ted. This was a competitive game early.
Mm-hmm.
And then Indiana was just willing to strain for longer. And they made Alabama tap. That second half,
Beat
just a
down.
dismantling on both sides of the ball. Completely dominated them at the point of attack. More violent, more physical, with much better effort. A game that was actually pretty close back and like a back and forth game early ended up in a complete blowout because Indiana just they wanted it more, man. That's how it looked to me.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you can frame it different ways. Um, Alabama, like the thought of Alabama coming into the playoff and coming into like one of the reasons I felt good about the game whenever we played them at home was Alabama is tired and is just kind of limping in a little bit. They were able to get past us, but the game was competitive early and it just felt like Indiana had the edge. You could sense that Alabama was gonna need some things to break their way, but the pressure that Indiana gave them in literally every aspect of the game just overwhelmed them and they finally broke. Right? They were able to hang close for a while, but it became more and more apparent that Indiana had the edge in literally every single facet of the game. And some of the old problems that Alabama's had throughout the season were big factors in this game. The running game, nothing. Couldn't get it going at all. And it just ends up putting too much on Ty Simpson. And he was under constant stress. Credit Indiana's defense and D line for just getting after him without one of their best players. It was that was an all around ass whipping. There's really no other way to put it.
I mean, they knocked Ty Simpson out of the game.
Yeah.
Sounds like they broke his rib. And it's their
street
corner.
clothes
It's the
over there.
smallest guy on the field. Like Pons he's a great cover corner, but he's not known for being a tackler. And he caps off. Simpson makes him pay for not getting down. And then we saw Austin Mack, which, by the way, that guy looks like he's got some physical tools. My goodness. But Indiana was just better everywhere. You're right. And Mendoza was great. Really efficient day throwing it. Used his legs as a weapon when he needed to. But I thought the most impressive thing in the entire game was Indiana's ability to run it in between the tackles against Bama. Not many teams have been able to do it. And certainly teams weren't able to do it the way that Indiana did it. And they stuck with it. They kept handing it. That offensive line kept straining. And Indiana's backs, maybe the most underrated part of their team. Dude, watching those guys on film, like, there's no wasted motion. They're ready to roll, and it is fast. The acceleration is ridiculous, and it is violent, dude. Those backs are fun to watch. Like, I think I'm just going to be real. Like, conceptually, Indiana doesn't do things a whole lot differently than OU's offense. But the way that the O-line strains and the way that those backs hit the hole, like that's where the difference is. And It was impressive. It was a joy to watch as an O-line guy. Watch that group continue to strain and just, I don't know, just kind of say, hey, Bama, you want to keep doing this? And Bama's like, no, not really, guys. You got it.
Yeah, I think, the run game, you said violent, and it's really the only way to describe it. You can see when a running play happens on a football field, like, forget what the result of the play is. Yeah, maybe it's a positive game, maybe it's no game, but you can see who the aggressor is. And like when you're playing defense, you always want to overwhelm the run with physicality, and it needs to look like a mess on the offensive side. On the flip side is true on offense. Like, when there's an aggressiveness to it, and it looked like they had Alabama on their heels with physicality in the run game, and it was apparent that, okay, like, you maybe your first couple of carries, your first dozen or so, didn't yield big results production wise, but you can see that the Indiana offense is the aggressor and is the group on the attack. And you've talked about it in the past, the body blows, right? The body blows early, and you hope the 2, 3, 4 yard gains in the first quarter turn into the 6, 8, 10 yard gains in the second half. And that's exactly how it unfolded for Indiana.
Ted, their center was named the offensive MVP of the game. Congrats to Pat Coogan. What a moment for O-linemen everywhere. But that was the difference. Yeah, Mendoza was awesome. And I actually thought they did. You saw it early. Like, Alabama was winning a lot of one-on-ones up front. Like, the Alabama defense is legit, and they made a really smart adjustment basically after that first series. They're like, we're going to get this guy on the move. We're going to get him out of here. We're going to get him away from this. We're going to make things a little easier on the O line. It was a great adjustment. But that second half, it was full on assault at the point of attack. And I was, you could see how excited Mendoza was for Coogan to win the MVP. And I thought that said a lot about that football team and about that guy. Honestly, that was a very cool moment, but that was the difference in the game. Like the physicality at the point of attack for Indiana was just on a different level than what Alabama had, which is
Man,
crazy to say, but that's where we're at. Indiana. Indiana is the most physical team in college football.
you know, I think the Indiana story is amazing what has happened there in 2 years. What's in my mind the most significant part about it is what you just said. Indiana's last two games, they physically dominated Ohio State and Alabama. And typically when you see a team kind of come out of nowhere and then have a big run, it's oftentimes because they have like an incredibly special player, typically at quarterback, and it's combined with a unique style or offense that no one else really has. And they're like, the gap isn't physical. The gap is how do we defend what it is that they do that's totally unique to them and you don't see throughout the rest of the season. That is not the case with Indiana. Their offense is, like you said, in the run game, there's nothing they do that's unique to Indiana. You're going to see the same plays that you see almost unanimously across college football in the run game and in the pass game. But they just execute. They physically dominate. They control the line of scrimmage. I mean, what you see in the passing game, I mean, that touchdown to Becker, I mean, what a throw. What a catch. That zero coverage, bringing pressure one-on-one, go beat your man. That isn't some crazy intricate design. We've got the perfect play for this scenario and we're going to scheme you. That is, we're going to block you and our wide receiver is going to go beat your cover guy one-on-one and we're going to make a play. That ain't, I mean, that's backyard football. And they're doing it to teams that have, over the last decade plus, absolutely dominated college football.
Indiana's here to stay, buddy.
No doubt.
They are, I mean, Oklahoma is going head to head with multiple guys in the transfer portal with Indiana. And I'm sitting over here going, oh, man. Because right now, let's be real, Cignetti in Indiana, they got the juice. It's what everyone's talking about. And by the way, I would watch a broadcast of their game that just like had a constant camera on Cignetti, like in the corner, like the old school picture in picture. You remember that?
Oh my God. That's all I wanted to see. 100%.
Oh my gosh. The memes that came out of that game for him are just but hey, they look like head and shoulders the best team in that's left.
Oh,
We'll see, but man,
and they've got that wave behind them, right?
yeah,
I mean, I guess you could say Miami does, but it's a different feel than what Indiana has going.
I think the difference is Miami in there is no coincidence. Like I watched every snap of all four games. And Indiana and Miami were the two teams that in the game, like when there were collisions, they made me go, oh, dang. the most.
Yep.
They were hitting, bro. And so it won't surprise me if that's what the national championship game is. Now, and we still got to recap it. The Chambliss guy may have a thing or two to say about it.
My gosh.
Mike,
You're right,
unbelievable.
though. Like, hey, give us the Signetti cam moving
Yeah.
forward. I want to see that Zen hanging on for dear life in, about to come out of the lip the entire game. Give it to me. He's great.
Mendoza, post game speech, post game interview. Were you able to watch it or no?
No.
Okay. Just so you know, he called his offensive linemen hoggies. He's like, I'll take my hoggies over any hoggies. And I was just like, oh my gosh.
It was on, but the volume was off.
I I want you to go watch it. Well, how about this? Will you give us a review of it next episode? Come on, man.
Okay. I'll do
Okay.
it. I'll do
Hey,
it.
you're
Hey,
gonna
it's going to be hard. I'll spend all day watching that throw to Becker, though. What a play. And that dude is a legit wide receiver. Legit.
he can roll.
Yes,
And
he
that's
can.
the thing. When you watch them on tape, they are very dynamic at the skill spots. Like their receivers are like their starting receivers, both of their backs, they're all draft picks.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
They're like all of them. So I just the what they've built, especially in the amount of time that they've done it, is like there's nothing to compare it to in the history of the sport. Like I don't even. It's amazing, dude. Like
Yeah.
it. I know everyone's searching for like a comparison for it. There's nothing. Like it's in a category of its own.
Yeah. I mean, Becker's a guy that you would look at in years past and be like, oh, just a receiver at Indiana. He's like 6'4, 205. It's his first real year to play. He's a sophomore. And I didn't they say on the broadcast that he's got one of the fastest GPS speeds in the entire college football season at like 22 and a half or something miles per hour. He can freaking roll, and he's got great length, great route running, great hands. How many big catches has he made for them this year?
Well, and
Crazy.
and then you look at a couple of the other touchdowns. Like remember Simpson fumbles and Indiana goes down and makes it 17-0 before the half. I mean, Cooper just runs away from Xavier Brown, Bama's best cover corner, just runs away, like leaves him in the dust, dude. Like is moving at a completely different speed to him, just on mesh, like
Yep.
just flies by him. And then you've got the other, like Surratt catches this beautiful throw from Mendoza. I think that made it 24-0. Like their receivers just they balled out. The running backs balled out. Like everyone, the quarterback balled out. The offensive line balled out. Like the offense did. It was. I mean, it was 38-3 for a reason.
And hey, and I know we've talked about Alabama, and like it's not the Alabama of 5-7 years ago where you had a first rounder at every single position on the field. I mean, but that is still an incredibly talented roster full of five-star players. And when you watch that football game and you didn't know who had what logo, I know they were wearing the same colors. Like you would have thought the wrong school was Alabama if you didn't know better.
Indiana is the new Alabama from this standpoint. They're the most physical team in the sport.
Yep.
That is what Alabama was built on under Nick Saban. Now they had incredible talent, but it was the physicality with the talent.
Execution.
Execution. Don't beat yourself. Details. That's what Indiana is. That's why they're the best team in college football.
Crazy.
That it feels weird to say it out loud, but it's the truth, man. Like I'll
It's
be
the
surprised
truth,
if
and
anyone wins it but them.
it's the truth, and it might be by a large margin.
And they may just start landing more quote unquote talented players.
Yeah, what are they going to do with some talent? Yeah, I don't know. In my opinion, I don't know where their guys came from, but they are not lacking in talent.
No. And one thing about it, go look at the roster, go look at the starters on offense and defense. That is an old football team. It is an old, mature football team.
Mm-hmm.
That matters in this sport just a little bit.
It does.
One game left, and it was by far the best game. I mean,
It's
my
crazy good.
goodness. Ole Miss beats Georgia in the Sugar Bowl 39-34. And Ted, coming into the game, we said, hey, maybe if Trinidad Chambliss has like one of the most special performances we can remember, maybe Ole Miss will have a chance. And, well, Trinidad Chambliss delivered one of the best quarterback performances we've ever seen, and Ole Miss beat him. That dude, and he didn't do it all by himself, clearly. But my goodness, that was entertaining to watch. That, whatever the equivalent of being in the zone is for a quarterback, like that's what we just watched with Trinidad Chambliss. That was wildly entertaining.
A couple of those exchanges, where he had, three or four throws in a row that were uh unconventional and amazing, were just like when you got it, you got it. And he was the difference in the football game. Just so fun to watch. So fun to watch. I mean, he's one of the rare guys that whenever things are chaotic and become difficult, usually the advantage swings to the defense. With Chambliss, it really doesn't. We saw the same thing in our game. Pressure, creating tons of pressure, and then he gets out on the move. You feel like, okay, we're doing our job. We're getting him off the spot. It almost makes it worse on you whenever you do that with him, because he is going to make you pay whenever he gets out and starts scrambling around with the football. So fun to watch.
I think the most impressive thing is like there was a point in this game, it felt like Georgia was about to put it on them almost.
Yeah.
Like the scoop and score.
Yeah.
They made it 21-12. You're like, oh, okay, here we go. Georgia's about to take control. And Ole Miss outplayed Georgia in the second half. Like that was the difference, man. They were better than them in the second half. It is Georgia's first loss entering the fourth quarter with the lead since 2018.
Wow.
Pretty significant. So that's where, and credit to Georgia, they could have packed it up when they went down 10, but that team, they're so consistently good when things get tight. I mean, it's impressive, but ultimately some interesting game management decisions from Kirby Smart and Trinidad Chambliss being just ridiculous. That's what won Ole Miss the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. There was some uncharacteristic stuff, and you know, I don't mind some of the fourth down stuff, but there's a time and place for it, and I feel like some teams got, like I said with Tech, just got a little bit desperate before you really needed to.
Yeah,
But
for what? 4th and 2 with 9.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter from the -33. That was very strange for them not to just punt it there and trust your defense. Especially, and in hindsight, like they snap it, And essentially the entire offense looks surprised that they snap it, or at least the entire O line.
Well, the whole exchange to even get to the snap was wild, right? I mean, it was, yeah, that was a weird spot.
Something went wrong there. I'm not quite sure what, but something went wrong.
Yeah,
And it went wrong when you can't have something go wrong.
yeah,
If you're going to be that aggressive, make that decision, like you got to get to your best play and everyone's got to be on the same page. And that's not what happened for Georgia.
yep, yeah, not good. And I don't know. It was just an incredibly entertaining football game. I'll tell you the funny thing about it, though. It ended, and well, I thought it ended, and I walked away from the game, Gabe, and I came back what felt like 30 minutes later, and they were still on the field. I was like, what? What is happening right now?
The It was an incredible game with one of the most hilariously stupid endings you'll ever see.
It was interesting to say the
They're
least.
wheeling the stage on. They're wheeling it off. They're reeling it on. They're wheeling it off. It was now I will say the onside kick after the pitchy woo woo safety, dude. You got to know the rules, Ole Miss. Go! Just touch the ball. So that was it was something, but ultimately, what a win for Ole Miss! What a performance from Trinidad Chambliss, and how about Pete Golden, man? He gets. You just got to call it like see it. Pete Golden now has the best win Ole Miss has had in I don't know how long. I'm not familiar
Ever?
enough with their history, but he's got a win that's better than any that Lane Kiffin got while he was the head coach there. I know that.
Yeah. And Mendoza is your Heisman Trophy winner, but is it wrong to say that Ole Miss has the best player left in the tournament?
There's I don't even think Mendoza would debate that.
Yeah. The situations are different in how those teams operate and what they're asked to do, but Chambliss is like I Ole Miss is not the best team in it. And I don't think at any point they've been the best team in it. But they have a chance to go win it all because of who's getting the ball for them every snap on offense. I mean, that's like he can go beat Miami and he can go beat whoever's on the other side in a one off game. I think that's the highest probability? No, I don't. But because of him, if he has games like this, they have a chance to go win the whole thing.
And they got a great kicker. We haven't given the kicker a shine.
Woo, what a night.
Garnero.
Dude, he was killing the ball.
You could see like McDonough was like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
Sean McDonough's seen a lot of football games. And when you are kicking it so far over the crossbar from 50 plus yards to where the play by play guy that's called a gajillion games is like, my goodness. Like, you're striping it.
Yeah, when you're hitting a 55 yarder and it's hitting,
The all
two
state
thirds.
hands.
Yeah, if you're kicking it into the all-state hands, like reason for excitement. That was a heck of a performance.
The
What I mean,
game.
the whole game was just awesome, though.
Oh,
Even the call, I thought the call was entertaining. It was good.
Gunnar Stockton played really well.
He did.
He had some extremely memorable plays, but it just all got overshadowed by how special Chambliss was. Because, dude, it looked like he died on that
That's
one
what I was
hit.
about to say.
And
Dude.
then
Wow.
he gets back up to the ball. QB sneaks it into the end zone, is like screaming. I'm like, dude, this guy, that's awesome. But
Yeah, that collision was one of those where you just got to like whenever the wreck is coming, instead of fighting it, just kind of go limp, and he just got that was cool to see though, to get right back up and keep battle, which is like the Gunnar Stockton thing to do, right? He's that type of player. He is very entertaining to watch. Not quite as entertaining as Chambliss though.
I cannot wait for that semifinal. I don't know who's going to be coaching Ole Miss.
No
I
kidding.
I know who the head coach is going to be. I know Pete Golding. He's also going to be calling the defense, but we'll see. I assume Charlie Weiss Jr. is going to be part of it. That's what the reporting says. But yeah, those guys have all signed contracts with LSU, and now the portal's open. So I just hope that the preparation, like those, that roster deserves the proper focus and the proper preparation from the staff because man, they've stuck together. The head coach bailed on them, and they went and got the job done. So I'm just really impressed with this Ole Miss team, man.
Yeah, I am too. And, you know, I'm not sure where my rooting interest lies with Ole Miss, honestly.
Ted, they're one of our annual opponents.
Yeah,
Careful.
I know.
It's hard not to cheer
It's
for them. Let's be real. Come on.
it is. It like that's one part of it. The other part of it is like how long do you go before you say, could we have got Charlie Weiss for half the money we spent on Lane Kiffin and got the same result? And you know, I think that Lane Kiffin he's a good offensive mind, really good, and has a lot to do with the success that they've had. Clearly, I think like his value is, I think more. There's a lot of guys that want to go play for him, so there's a lot of value built in with that. But Charlie Weiss making a pretty good name for himself right now.
Trinidad Chambliss helps. Let's be real. He's the best player in the sport right now. He's certainly the most entertaining. It's what makes you think that Ole Miss has a chance.
Yeah,
I, we'll
and we'll
see.
see what his eligibility is moving forward.
Can you go win a national title at a school and then leave said school? That seems like you can't do that.
Yeah,
I,
he's an interesting like at the like. I I think that he can obviously play in the NFL, but you see guys that operate like him and it translates well to the NFL for like a season and a half. And then you have to become a different type of player in the NFL. Just I'm curious to see what he does at the next level.
Me too. I will say he does some really nice stuff from the pocket.
Yeah.
So we'll see. The semis are set. It's gonna be fun, man. I'm
It
excited.
is. It is.
Wish the Sooners were still playing. It's okay. Let's finish up with our winners and losers of the weekend. But first, wind, hail, tornadoes, and earthquakes are now year round threats. And at the same time, homeowners insurance rates in Oklahoma are the highest in the entire country. Unfortunately, some insurance companies use deceptive and bad faith claim handling practices to deny or lower what little they pay out. Fortunately, one of the leading insurance bad faith attorneys in the country is a longtime Sooner and resides here in Oklahoma, Jeff Marr. The Marr Law Firm has represented more victims of tornado, storm, and earthquake damage than anyone in the Sooner State, recovering hundreds of millions of dollars for their clients. There's only one law firm to handle insurance companies, Marr Law Firm. And three things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise, it's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go. And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. As always, Ted, kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
Oh, why don't we just talk about a little OU men's hoops? Starting off conference play with a nice win over Ole Miss. And I that's the performance we've been kind of hoping for with this team. Now, Ole Miss, it's been a struggle for them. This was a very winnable game, but you went in and handled business. I thought they were really good in the first half, even though, you go into halftime with just a small lead. I still really liked what I saw offensively from Oklahoma, and they cranked it up in the second half. They were great. I thought McGee was excellent on the glass. Some big rebounds by him. Was obviously got some critical points in the paint for us. But dude, a talk on the three. I love watching him shoot the three, man. It is a thing of beauty.
Just loading it up and
It
letting it
just
fly.
right there, no movement. T Rose said coming into the season that like a lot of the coaches say he's got one of the best 3-point strokes that they've ever seen, and we've seen flashes of it. And he looked good on Saturday. That was fun.
That was I thought the defense really cranked up in the second half for him.
Mhm.
And credit to Ole Miss in the first half. They just shot the heck out of the ball from three. But I thought that the Sooners did a much better job of defending the 3-point line in the second half. And then we just got some bucket getters, man.
No doubt. I mean,
Co-
that's a big difference. The ability, like last year, Fears was great, but he was the only guy that you could ever trust to put it on the floor and go and create. But we got multiple guys that can. I mean, it's that little one arm scoop layup from like feels like 12 feet away, but these guys get to the rim and it's a game changer for sure to be able to do both, shoot the three well and attack the rim.
yeah, if they shoot the three like they shot in this game, right, where they're hovering around that 40% mark, they're going to be in a lot of close games in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to win a lot. They shoot it like that, they're going to win a lot of them. But my takeaway from the game was, hey, this is going to be a fun season of basketball for OU men's hoops,
I agree.
and we'll see how it all comes together. Clearly, you got to stay healthy as well. But what you saw from Xavier Brown, what you saw from Davis, what you saw from Reed, what you see from Pack, game in and game out, like you got guys that can score. You got guys that can put it in the basket if they continue to grow defensively, which I feel pretty good about because it is a Porter Moser team. I I don't know, man. Like, could OU make some noise in the SEC? It's hard to say right now, but it should be really fun, and that's really all we're asking for, Ted. We want to be entertained.
Yeah. And the conference is not what it was last year. Last year you had like 5 teams that were, top 10-ish, and there was a bunch of really big and really old teams. I mean, Auburn had like 24-year-old, 25-year-old guys that have played a ton of basketball for them. You don't have that team, uh, at least not nearly as consistently this year in the SEC. So I do think that, I mean, the stage is kind of set for them to be able to go in and compete. And if they can continue to get better defensively and more consistent and continue to shoot and score on offense, yeah, man, who knows what the season may hold for them.
To recap, just make shots and prevent the other team from making shots.
That's all you got to do, right?
That's all you got to do. Basketball's simple. It it may be we may be a week or two away from it, but we are we're approaching football guys talking basketball time of
Whew,
the year,
man,
where hoops gets its own segment on this here
man,
podcast.
don't get me excited.
But we know everyone tunes in for the hard hitting basketball analysis. OU hoops, OKC Thunder hoops. Like that's
There you
everyone
go.
tunes into this for that. Everyone knows that.
There you go.
But a nice win, a great way to start conference play for Porter Moser's group. I mean, You put up 86, you shoot it well, feel great about how you play defense in the second half. Like it's a nice conference opener for the Sooners.
Yep. No complaints here. It's what you want to see. And I think that this team has a chance to continue to get better and better and better as they roll through some games.
Who do you have as your loser of the weekend?
Was an interesting one because we had to talk about Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay getting the nice win. He had some crazy plays in a nasty football game, but they get the win over Carolina. And the reason I've got them as losers because they've got a losing record right now, and their fate lies with the New Orleans Saints, the 6-10 New Orleans Saints. It's a strange thing. The NFL, this happens every now and then. You're going to have a winner of the division with a losing record, and they're going to be in the playoffs. Hopefully, it's Tampa Bay.
I think the vast majority of people listening to the podcast want Tampa Bay to make the playoffs.
No doubt.
But they are limping in. You think about what it was looking like early in the season for that team and for Baker in particular, where people are going, is he going to win the MVP? Injuries, inconsistent play across the board for that team.
Yep.
It just, the season didn't end up being what it looked like it could be early in the year. But still, hey, if you get into the playoffs, you always got a chance, I suppose. But it can't be a fun experience for those Bucs guys to be sitting on the couch today cheering for the Saints,
Right.
That's not where you want to be.
That is not where you want to be. So whatever, they got the win that they needed to get to give themselves a chance. And you're right. The season looked incredibly promising early, but they went through some long stretches of poor play, roster beat up, just kind of fighting and scrapping, lost a lot of close ones. That's always the NFL. But, if you can find yourself in the tournament with the chance, who knows what can happen. But I hope they make it. Let's go Saints.
What do you think they do with the NFC South champions hats? Because Carolina's sitting at home too, hoping that Atlanta wins.
I don't know.
Do you even pass out hats if you win to the division with a losing record?
I think you try and avoid it, and you just maybe you pass out playoff hats. I don't know, to try and avoid the conversation. But hey, the New York Giants were 7-9 when they went and won it in 2008. So it can happen.
Tampa doesn't quite have the front four that Giants team had.
No, they do not. No, they do not.
Maybe the guys turn it on. You never know, baby. I think this is my stance on it. The NFL is more entertaining when Baker Mayfield is playing football. And there's nothing better. The perfect example is a couple of the ridiculous plays he had in that game against the Panthers. But yeah, I want to be able to watch Baker one more time. That's kind of where I'm at with it. I don't think Tampa Bay has the team to make any noise in the playoffs, but I want to watch Baker Mayfield play football again because it is wildly entertaining.
I mean, it would be kind of cool to see, you got Hurts with Philly, you got Caleb Williams with the Bears, with currently sitting at 11-5 right now, played really well, and then Baker with Tampa Bay. It'd be pretty cool to see a bunch of Oklahoma quarterbacks in the playoffs. Former Oklahoma quarterbacks.
I would just like to see Baker play. That's kind of where I'm at with it. So, and I played for the Saints. Go Saints.
There we go.
Didn't play for the Falcons. So come on, go Saints. There we go. Easy. By the time a lot of people listen to this, they'll know whether the Bucs are in or not.
Yeah, and a lot of people, is it still happening right now? Is it still going?
I
on
think
the
you
basketball.
underestimate the power of Baker Mayfield with this fan
No,
base.
I know. The season doesn't end until Baker's done. I get it.
That's that's pretty that's the read I have on the situation as well.
That's right.
All right, let's finish up with my winner and loser. But first, this episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code OKBreakdown to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. We all make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. And it's so simple to play. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. Prize Picks is also the best way to get action on sports in more than 40 states, and they put their users first. All withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure, and they also offer injury reboots. If one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks won't count it as a loss. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. Join millions of users and sign up today. Download the Prize Picks app and use code OKBreakdown to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code OKBreakdown to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. We are Mando Men. This is actually the deodorant both of us use. And new customers can go to shopmando.com and get 20% off site wide and free shipping with our code OKBreakdown. Cheering for your squad is hard work, which makes the deodorant you choose very important. Mando's sweat control deodorant stick stops odor before it starts, and they have great scents like bourbon leather, Cloverwoods, Mount Fuji, and Pro Sport. Mando's starter pack is also perfect for new customers. It comes with the solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping. New customers get 20% off site wide and free shipping on shopmando.com with our code OKBreakdown. That's shopmando.com, code OKBreakdown for 20% off and free shipping for new customers. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Mando's got you covered with deodorant plus sweat control. Say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long-lasting freshness. All right, for my winner of the weekend, thought about going with the Oklahoma City Thunder, Ted. Moved to 30-5 after absolutely destroying the Warriors, which
Still fun.
I know they didn't have Steph Curry. I know that Draymond Green didn't play. I know that Jimmy Butler didn't play. I don't care. I will never get tired of watching the Thunder beat the Warriors.
Nope. Nope.
Never going to happen.
We owe them for eternity. Just like the old dagger is the only way to feel better. You don't just remove the dagger. You gotta insert it back into that team over and over, right?
No doubt. Now, they lost to the Spurs on Christmas Day, and we all were going, okay. Since then, won 4 in a row. They've scored 129, 140, 124, and 131. Now it's
Got it back.
been against meh competition, but they're putting the ball in the basket and racking up wins. And the 3 teams behind us in the standings are the Spurs, the Rockets, and Denver. Wemby with the knee issue. Şengün hurt his ankle last night. Not sure how serious it is for the Rockets. And then Jokic is out for at least, a month.
Yeah.
So, and luckily, that wasn't as bad as it kind of looked there at the time.
That was weird how he.
Ugh.
Yeah.
But I say that to say, hey, feeling pretty good about the Thunder and where we're going to be in the standings,
Yeah.
Some people are talking about the Spurs. Hey, could they put a run together and maybe be the 1 seed? I'm feeling good about where the Thunder could end up being.
Yeah. I feel very comfortable. I'm not too worried about the seeding and where it's going to end up. I got a pretty good feel on what that's going to be. The question is, are you going to be able to answer some of the San Antonio problems? And we'll see. It's a long time between now and whenever it's ultimately going to matter for all the marbles, but I like where we sit, and I kind of like the mindset. And what you brought up afterwards, is this actually, can it be spun as a positive? I love the response from the guys since then and kind of everything that they've said.
I'm with you. All right, but my winner of the weekend is Oklahoma State football. They haven't won a Big 12 game the last 2 seasons, but now they got themselves a quarterback. Drew Mestemaker is following Eric Morris to Stillwater. He's committed. He had a massive season in 2025. He led the country in passing. This is, this is a great start to what is going to be a relatively tough rebuild there for Eric Morris. That program has fallen off a cliff, but I'm guessing Oklahoma State fans hope Eric Morris is their Kurt Signetti and just brings it back right away. And the way to do it is to bring a big-time quarterback into the program. And clearly the relationship was already there, Ted, but this feels like a massive deal for the Pokes.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you're really excited about Eric Morris. I've liked a lot of stuff from him, but it ain't going to be what you've seen from him in North Texas unless you get the right quarterback. And to be able to land Mestemaker, which you felt they had a really good chance to do it, but he was still probably, in my mind, the number one quarterback in the portal.
The Sorsby guy from Cincinnati, he was right in the mix. He's in that conversation.
Yeah,
right. You got Sorsby, Sam Levitt, Mestemaker. Some people probably view just the physical tools of DJ Lagway. But yes, right in the mix.
I think he's there because of how much time he has left to play.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, there's a lot of value, not just in what has your production been, but how long can we have you for? Like, how long can you play here? So, I don't know, a huge pickup for them. I'm excited for them. I think that they've made, with as difficult as this offseason has been with coaching searches and, trying to get the right hire, I feel like they made a really good hire for who they are and kind of who they need to be successful. And they brought in one of the biggest players out there in the country. So far, things have moved in a really good direction for Oklahoma State.
Mestemaker clearly trusts Eric Morris implicitly because Oklahoma State has been abysmal on the offensive line the last couple seasons. And I'm sure that's where the priority shifts. Now, I'm sure they're going to try to get that running back that they had at North Texas as well. But Mestemaker can only do so much, man. You got to fix the O-line problem. That has been, by far, in my opinion, the biggest issue they've had offensively. Yep. So you got to fix that. You got to protect that quarterback that is allegedly making a whole lot of money.
Yep.
So I'm excited for Oklahoma State fans because the last 2 seasons have to have been so miserable for those people.
Gabe,
so they've got something to be excited about, man.
I've watched like a grand total of maybe 7 minutes of Oklahoma State football over the last 2 years.
You haven't missed much, dude. I've watched more than that, but they have been that roster. It was last season. It was one of the worst in the Power Four.
Yep.
And it was in the conversation for possibly the worst.
Yeah. And it's going to be tough to recover from that. It can be done. I don't know what their financial situation is, especially after the Mestemaker pickup, but
it's good enough, baby.
you're gonna have to allocate a bunch of resources. I mean, we just spent time talking about Indiana. Indiana, the key to their bounce back isn't a good quarterback and an offensive system to where they're able to navigate around you. They go right over the top of you, and it's probably not going to be an easy formula to replicate for Oklahoma State, but it's not going to happen without being competitive or dominant on the line of scrimmage. You have to get there. It's the same story for Oklahoma, right? I mean, the line of scrimmage is where it all starts.
Congrats, OSU fans.
Congrats.
You
Good
get to
start.
feel, I assume you're feeling joy for the first time in a while. It's good. Good for you. My loser of the weekend. Got to have the conversation, Ted. The SEC
Yeah.
has the Big Ten overtaken the SEC as the best conference in college football. Listen, bowl games, I've said it many times on here. With the way the college football works now, I do not put a lot of stock in bowl games. But the SEC is 3-7 in bowl games against other Power 4 teams. And they're 1-3 against the Big Ten. Illinois beat Tennessee. Iowa beat Vandy. Indiana embarrassed Alabama. Now, Texas did beat Michigan. Woohoo. But it's not a debate. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, it's hard to argue. It's hard to make an argument. Like, it's one thing if you go win the championship and you've got the best team, and the bowl game, it's easy to dismiss the bowl record if you go win the whole thing. You got the national champion in your conference. But if you don't go win the whole thing, if you don't even have a team in the championship again, and you get it handed to you in the bowl season, you don't have a whole lot to grasp a hold of anymore. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, if you want to say that the Big Ten teams have taken the bowl season way more seriously than the SEC has, okay, well, that's a problem, right? If your football teams aren't taking games on their schedule as seriously as your opponent, that is a problem. So, in my opinion, the answer right now is an overwhelming, a clear yes, it is.
Well, here we are. You and I are not like conference superiority type people like, oh, look at us, Oklahoma and the mighty SEC. But I do think that one of the biggest positives, I don't know if that's the best way to put it, about being in the SEC is you can be like, hey, we're in the best league in the country.
Yes.
And people want to come play in this league. And I still think guys want to come play in the SEC.
No doubt.
I believe that for sure. But it doesn't feel like you can sit here and go, hey, the SEC is clearly the best conference in the country. Now, I think that the SEC will have the most NFL draft picks of any conference again. I think
We'll see.
We'll see.
I think there were years whenever, for the longest time, it hasn't been close. It's going to be closer.
And I know that the SEC's got what, two less teams than the Big Ten now?
Yeah.
But the argument for the SEC has always been, hey, they got the best teams that win the national title, and then like their worst teams are more talented than the Big Ten's bad teams. The Big Ten's best teams are clearly better than the SEC's best teams right now. They've won the last two, and Indiana, like, pretty much everyone thinks they're going to win 3 in a row. And then, and I know bowl games aren't the best indicator, but like, you got Illinois beating Tennessee. You got Iowa beating Vandy. I mean, Indiana destroyed a team that played for the SEC championship this season. I don't know, man. Like A&M loses to Miami in the college football playoff.
Mhm.
Mizzou lost to Virginia in the bowl game. LSU lost to Houston. Mississippi State lost to Wake Forest. Like, I don't know, man. I just don't think you can say the SEC is clearly the best conference in college football anymore. Like, at the very least, you have to say the Big Ten and that the SEC are on an even playing field. That's how I feel right now with what we've seen over the last couple seasons.
Well, yeah, and to your point, uh, rooting and cheering for a conference and like in the grand scheme of things, you say, well, who cares? It doesn't matter. Well, college football's a trendy thing, right? And you go through cycles and different trends, and one thing is hot, like one offensive system is hot, one defensive system, and it just kind of meanders along. Well, for a long time, the SEC has been the standard for talent, for the elite teams, for the best of the best. That ain't the trend right now. The trend is, well, the Big Ten has the best teams, and you may still be able to sit there and say, well, yeah, but the SEC is more talented. Well, who cares if you're not winning the football games that matter, right? And I know people say, well, the bowl games don't matter. I mean, you're not going to hear any player or coach. You go check how many coaches have said that the bowl games don't matter. They're not going to say that. I mean, this is the measuring stick, and like the perception is going to be, well, the Big Ten's the better conference, and to a large degree, public perception is reality. No matter where the truth is, like that's going to be what's hammered home constantly across all your social media platforms. That's what the fans are going to say. And the results are backed up right there on the field. And it's only a matter of time before that starts to trend in recruiting. And will those teams overtake the SEC on grabbing the most talented guys? I don't know if they're going to overtake them, but they're going to start chipping away. And it doesn't take long where a handful of players every recruiting season starts to really add up. Just look at some of the rosters and look how good Georgia and Alabama were in years past. Well, you chip away at a little bit of the talent here and there. It doesn't take long for things to drastically change.
Just because it means more doesn't mean it's better. I,
And like, there's almost like, don't you get the feeling that there's like an SEC arrogance also going into games and situations like that to a certain degree? Like we won this many championships in a row. Like when we step on the field, we're just better, and like we get to dictate terms, and like that is gone. It ain't happening on the field anymore. There's not any Big Ten teams that look scared coming into any of these matches or these matchups in my mind. I mean, Indiana, or excuse me, Iowa. I just wanted to tune in and watch Iowa's run game for a little while, and dude, they just took it right to Vanderbilt, right to them. The game was closer than what it actually looked like on the field, aside from a handful of big plays, which is what Vandy has done at times, but Iowa dominated that football game.
just something to think about.
Something to think about.
Something to think about. Birthday shout outs. Welcome to the world, Harlan Brooks. Hagar?
Hager.
Hager. Hager. Harlan Brooks Hager. What?
Yeah.
What? What?
Well, I thought you were going to end it with something my fault. Happy first birthday to Graham Courtney.
What do you think I was going to do?
I
Happy
don't know.
8th birthday to Rhett Wood.
Happy ninth birthday to Graham Greenlee.
Happy 15th birthday to Brennan J.
Happy 22nd birthday to Drew Bush.
Happy 33rd birthday to Jason Brown Jr.
Happy 12th birthday to Carter Jensen.
Happy 28th birthday to Grady Kane.
Happy 40th birthday to Bobby Wilkin.
Happy 51st birthday to Brian Ward.
Happy 54th birthday to Jennifer Red McCauley.
Happy birthday to Bubba Beasley.
And happy belated birthday to Calvin James Jackson.
On that note, episode 594 in the books. Forgot to tell you, Ted, Happy New Year, buddy.
Happy New Year to you as well.
First episode of 2026. Feels good. Feels good. It's going to be amazing year for the pod. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Wednesday. Hopefully, we've got some exciting stuff to talk about. Big news. Yes. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, make sure you check out our website, okbreakdown.com. Hope you all have a great start to your week. And until next time, I appreciate y'all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.